Okay, talking a little bit more about Kurt Cobain, um, sort of larger than life individual until tragic passing um, by his own hand. And we're trying to figure out why. Where'd that come from? What did that have to do with? And so far, I think it was a statement of rejection to society and saying, I don't want to do this anymore. The more I say I don't want to do this, which makes me wonder if there were conversations in the background with higher executives that try to, where he said, I don't want to do this anymore. Is there any way that we can disengage and walk away? And those executives were like, no, you have a contract. And the contract is a contract. Contract is a contract for a reason. But if you were to ask Kurt today, would you have signed the contract? He probably would say no. And if he would say yes, he would say, I would have done it differently. Because I don't think that he appreciated where it was going. And I think eventually it reached a boiling point.
Load any day and stuff like that. But once you fall in love, it's a bit different.
I don't want to know about it. Stop. George and I are not in the best love situations right now, so just stop talking about that. We'll change the subject. What I want to talk to you about.
I'm not boasting about it. It's just
No, it's
something
nice.
that's really
It's really nice
weird.
to talk about it. That that you have something like that to talk about. It's nice. I'm
not boasting. It's a bit different way to go, and the world's going to explode any day and stuff like that. But once you fall in love, it's a bit different.
I don't want to know about it. Stop.
And it's like he's not even happy about it. He lit up at least a little bit when she gave him an idea about how to deal with people in terms of defamation, saying things about him. He lit up on that. But on this, he was like, love is a little bit different. That's really all I can say. Like, he's a poet. He should be like, the grass is greener, the sky is bluer, the sun is brighter. He should be saying stuff like that, but he's at a loss for words. How? How is a poet at a loss for words? That doesn't happen. I don't think love is hitting the way it hit, but I don't think it's hitting or fulfilling in the way that he thought it would be. Because there was probably a motivation as well to do better than his parents and create the family that broke up when he was 8. I want to redo that. But then I think he got into it and he was like, oh, this is a lot of pressure. This is way more pressure than I thought it was. Because now because when you get into anything, if you're in a relationship, and you've been in one, you've been in a serious relationship, eventually somewhere down the line, things are going to change. The honeymoon is going to wear off and you're really going to have to do the work. And so facing that and coming to the knowledge of, and sometimes it comes sooner rather than later, that you meet these tough situations where you have to compromise. And you have to allow people to fill your space, and the rose-colored glasses come off. I think that the excitement was extremely temporary of this, and when I think over time, as he started to make himself, or tried or attempted to make himself happy more with things that should be happy things, but they weren't fulfilling, he started to get what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but he started to. I'm trying to think of the word. There's a specific word, but he started to become sort of pessimistic about any other points of joy, because if this can't make me happy, what is going to make me happy? And so it's an internal struggle within myself, because it's not my child and I guarantee he said this to himself. This is not my child or my wife's or my girlfriend's responsibility to make me happy. I need to find out how to make myself happy, but I just can't. I don't know how to do it. And that can be extremely discouraging because you're doing these things because you think they're going to make you happy, and they don't. And it's like, I'm running out of options here. I'm running out of motivation here. That's sad, man.
George and I are not in the best love situations right now, so we'll stop talking about that. We'll change the subject. So we'll talk to you about.
He's not even really laughing.
I'm not boasting about it. It's just
no, it's
something
nice.
that's really
it's really nice
weird.
to talk about it. That that you have something like that to talk about. It's nice.
It's not a real laugh.
You know,
Can you hold this for a while? Do you mind? Feeling a little weak.
That this whole grunge thing, that this in quotations grunge, all I want to know is, where did the term come from?
I have no idea. I think
like he just shut down again. Like he just shut down.
some of the rumors are that Jonathan Poneman said it one time sarcastically, and it just caught on.
Who's that?
He's one of the head honchos at Sub Pop Records. No one set out to market this music as that. That's what happens when the main media, the media catches on.
Yeah,
they have to call it something.
Mm-hmm.
I like it as much as new wave. I would have been proud to be a new waver, 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, well, we were about the same age. I was into new wave. Absolutely. Do you think you have some of the same? Is there anything the same between your music and new wave?
I think so.
Like what?
Well, new wave was just a progression from punk rock and a mutation of punk rock, and it was more commercial, more palatable. It had, punk rock roots, and it was easier to swallow for the media.
You see his eyebrows lift up. His eyes opened up a bit more. For the most part of this interview, he's squinting and doing this. But this excites him. Being able to talk music from a very historical perspective and talk about these ideas, that's exciting to him.
Middle America in the middle of the world. And it's just, that's what I kind of think about our music.
You worried about a Nirvana backlash?
Hasn't that already been over with? Hasn't that already happened? I don't know. Sure. I don't know.
Okay. What is it I'm talking about?
But we're getting more new wave as the days go by. I think we're going to reinvent new wave and bring back breakdancing. I'd really like to bring back new wave and breakdancing. Meld it to something. I don't know. That's what our new music is sounding like. We're using a lot more effects boxes, and we haven't resorted to skinny ties, but I think our music's, this sounds like the closing of the chapter of the formula we've been using. It's like grunge it's really kind of boring for us. It's something we can't deny, and we're not going to stop playing the old songs live. Whoops. And, but our tastes are just changing so rapidly that we're really experimenting with a lot of stuff, and it might get too indulgent and be really embarrassing for the next album, but we can't put out another album. And this is just like the last chapter of 3-chord grunge music for us. And, it was an easy thing to do and a safe thing to do because we knew it's still popular, but
he is talking about, and this is going toward my earlier theory of, when in the earlier video, he talked about being passive aggressive. We all just kind of passive aggressively talk to each other and interact with each other because there's really nothing in order to get this music done, because there's really nothing we can do about it. And I was wondering about the disagreements that, he and his bandmates might have, because they might be like, yo, I appreciate the thing. But he's like, no, this is not us. We don't want to do this. And the bandmates might argue back and say, I mean, I know that, but this is where we are now. This is what we got to do to keep the lights on. And bands can change. Bands can evolve. And Kurt is like, I don't want to change. I don't want to evolve. I don't want to and it's not he doesn't hate them because they want to change. He's just frustrated that it has to be this way, that they even have to have this conversation. And so my point in bringing all of that up is that he's saying that we are doing these things, but he's in an interview by himself. He's not mentioning any names of, bandmate this said this or bandmate this said that, and he's really excited. So I think this is more Kurt talking about what he wants to do, where he wants the band to go, or where he's going to push for the band to go in the future. So
we had to get it out of our systems.
How come you are so nice and you seem so comfortable with yourself? Something must have really happened in the last couple of years. Is it just falling in love?
No.
What happened?
I've always been a nice guy.
Yeah.
Maybe you were afraid to show it before. How's that?
Yeah, he is confused. She asked the question that confused him. He's like, what? Like, it's like the more she asked him, the more his face like kind of contracted. And he's like, no, you just don't know me. That's a question of like, you don't know me. I've always been a nice guy. Where have you been? It's almost insulted by the question. Yeah.
Well,
that's like, he's funny, man.
What? I don't know. You've never met me before.
I never met you before, but I know that other people who have had the opportunity to interview, and they said, oh, he hates doing interviews.
Hey, yo. That look is like, oh, man, that look is hilarious. That look is like, you don't even know me. What are you talking about? Now he's like, now you woke him up again, but not in a good way. Now he's ready to argue because he's just like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, I've always been a nice guy. What have I done that's not nice? See, this is more of the bullcrap that you media people do. You are just like, see, I was waiting for the hammer to drop. You guys are all the same. It's funny, but it's not funny. Because it's like, God, I can't. It's like if you imagine him wiping his eyes, he's like, God, I can't get away from this, you know.
He's not going to want to talk about anything.
Well,
I said, well, whatever, who knows? And you're just like, exactly.